Today on MuscleCar, our El Camino parts hauler rides again. Last time our boys blew the rear end out of it. Now it's ready for another trial by burnout. Our Project Challenger's gonna be a little too fast for its own good, so it's getting some help keeping all four wheels on the ground.
Welcome to MuscleCar. Today we're going to show you how to bend some pipe, we're going to brace some in the fender wells, and Jared's going to fix what he broke.
Well, it looks like our Ramjet made just a little bit too much power for this stock 10-bolt rear end. So we're going to get rid of that and put a Ford 9-inch in here. And what we show you is going to work with about any 78 to 87 GMG body. I'm talking the Monte Carlos, the Cutlasses, the Regals, you name it.
You broke it, you fix it.
Let's get
I'll
cracking.
get the drain pan.
I'm eager.
Hit it, Maestro.
We dropped a 350 horse crate motor into El Camino and it was looking strong out on the highway.
That's the end of that rear end, and we got some fixing to do.
What do you think is going to be behind door number 1, Mr. Santiago?
I'm taking pinion.
I'm thinking ring gear.
I think you're crazy.
I think I'm going to rub it in when I'm right. Chunks. Whoa, gracious me. Well, that looks good.
Dude, it fragged the spiders.
That is awesome.
Yeah, see, look, here's the springs for the posi unit.
Oh, let's get it out of here.
What we've got here is the spider gears let go and it took out the rest of the limited slip posi unit, so it's junk.
Well, we won't be taking our parts truck to get a new rear end, so let me show you a little trick we used to do in Kansas. You ready? There's no place like Junkyard. There's no place like Junkyard. There's no place like... Oh, I hate travel.
I hate having my atoms spread all over the universe like that. Let's go find a truck.
Fixed.
Let's go over there.
All right, Dan.
Looks like it might have one in it. It's a half-ton. Now watch out. Yeah, that's one. 9-inch Fords from coil spring cars. The top of the axle tube is flat so they can mount the spring on it. They're a lot harder to narrow. Oh, yeah.
Prepare to cut, Doctor.
We're getting ready to play with fire. Flame on. When you're cutting those axles off of that junkyard truck, be careful of those shock mounts. Don't let them flame up.
Call the fire department, Lou. You don't ever want a shock on fire. You never want to cut the housing of a shock because it's filled with fluid and it can explode. Time to take it home and cut it down to size.
There's two rear ends that Ford makes where this whole center section comes out, the 9-inch and its cousin, the 8-inch. The way to tell them apart is the 8-inch has got a really pronounced flat area across the top and bottom. Plus the 9-inch is just physically larger.
Let's get this thing cleaned up.
All right, let's get out of here.
Oh, this is gonna be hard to...
You're so strong. 57.5. The most important measurement you're gonna make is the overall length. That's the number you need.
And you get that by going from the face of each axle flange. What do you got, brother?
65.25.
Oh man, we're gonna be doing some cutting.
Thing's big.
First step, cut off the old brackets and take out the old axles. We're gonna keep the housing and replace everything inside.
Woo! Hot spots on the head. I think we should do the smell of 90-weight gear oil as a perfume.
Yeah, here you go.
And we can call it Marcel by L&J. Hollywood would love it.
Oh, holy cow, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
$60.25.
Figuring out where you want to cut can be tricky because the pinion gear in the Ford 9-inch is off-center, so you want to cut different amounts off of each end.
We have a jig that shows you where the pinion lines up, so we can measure from there and then grind off a clean spot to mark the bracket locations and then weld them on. While I'm doing that, Jared's taking the mounting points off the rear end that he broke so he can put them on this one.
All right, well that means that I got to find a level plane on this thing so I can get it trued up, take some measurements so that when I cut these attachment points off of this rear end and transfer them to the other rear end, they're in exactly the same spot. Some of the mounting brackets will transfer to the junkyard housing. Others, you're gonna have to make yourself.
There it is. Once I cut the other end on, I'll clean it up some more, weld the brackets on, send it out to get shop blasted, and we're ready to squirt some paint on it.
Well, it looks better than it did in that truck.
You're so good with a rattle can. It's not even funny.
Hey guys, I want you to know we had to remake these top mounts just out of mild steel because the ones on the 10-bolt rear end are cast, so they wouldn't work.
What we did was we took a piece of 1/4-inch plate, cut it out to fit, and then we made these sleeves so the top bushings don't flex any. It works out good.
Let's go get the ports.
Don't break this rear end now.
Oh, I'm gonna try. I'm talking about some revenge.
You always want to remember to lube up your shaft before you put it in the rear end. This way it's a thing of beauty. The parts we're putting in, some good stuff that Curry supplies. 31 spline axles and an Eaton positive. We'll see if Jared can tear up all those brand new gears.
And next, the Mopar Nationals show off some of the finest rides on the road.
Sometimes you need a little bit of inspiration, so we took a break from our Mopar project to go watch some finished Mopars in action.
All muscle car fans are loyal to their brand, but Mopar guys are way over the top.
Their cars are the same way, with bright colors, radical designs, super cool names like Roadrunner, Super Bee, and Barracuda.
Back in the day, all Mopars had the Hemi option, so those things were notorious for making smoke.
For these fans, there's only one event to see every year, the Mopar Nationals, kind of like a mecca for Mopar lovers. This event, which takes place annually at National Trail Raceway in Columbus, Ohio, has grown steadily for 25 years, and it has everything to satisfy a Mopar appetite.
There's a burnout contest.
And when we say burnout,
We ain't lying.
now if burning ain't your thing, then you can run the quarter.
And that's what's different about these Mopar people. They like to drive their show cars.
It's more of a driver. Actually, it just turned out that I could show it. It turned out nice, but I drive it a lot.
One of the coolest things at the Nationals is the Killer Car Show. We saw the best of everything. Darts, Cooters, the Birds, and the Bees. And my fave, this amazing 1968 Roadrunner. Inside and out, this thing is flawless.
That's nice, but what about this 69 Charger RT? Absolutely perfect. Man, I'd love to restore one of those.
If you're interested in restoring your Mopar, there's the Mopar Midway with over 400 vendors who specialize in building new parts to go into your resto. Or if you want to stay vintage, there's the Swap Meet, where folks buy, sell, and trade original pieces of Mopar muscle. One warning, this stuff ain't cheap.
Oh yeah, and we also learned a little bit about the history of Mopar here, like how one of its most famous cars came to be.
We just took the low-line Belvedere 1 coupe, put on the GTX hood, and the grille and tail lamps, we painted them dark argent instead of light argent.
The Roadrunner's guts were a breeze too, thanks to a police engineer team. A cop big block, cop brakes, and a cop suspension got great results on the street. There was only one thing left.
We still needed a name. One morning, my ace assistant, Gordon Cherry, came in and said, "Jack, I've got the name." "What is it, Gordon?" He says, "Watch cartoons on Saturday morning." I did. It was fast. It was fun. It was hot off the line. It could stop on a dime. It never got beaten. Nobody could catch it. And it even went beep, beep.
And another thing that's made Mopar collecting and restoring more than just fun is the money. In the last decade or so, the value of these cars just hasn't gone through the roof. The roof's been blown off.
Because your hobby now all of a sudden is your 401k, so that's great. Some of these cars are $500,000, $1 million cars, and the guys are out here driving them. They're doing the burnouts and they're enjoying the cars, so it's kind of nice. You can drive your 401k, so to speak.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. There was some really top-notch Mopars at the Nationals, but ours is gonna be way over the top.
Since we changed how the suspension works on this car, most of the load is now carried at this point right here. So we're gonna brace up our inner wheelhouses and really make them strong.
I like the 90, what about you?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go for sure. Yeah, that's it right there. So first, we're gonna cut some braces. 1 5/8, 120 well DOM. Then, we're gonna introduce him to our new friend.
Arr! This be the tube shark. Tube go in, tube come out bent. All she's gotta do is eat, sleep, bend little tubes. And the steel's gonna spring back a little bit when you're done bending. So you wanna go just a couple degrees past your angle. 92.
You're the man.
My pirate hat. Arr!
So we're gonna be welding right next to our new front suspension. And we don't wanna ruin those airbags the way we burned up Jesse's coat a little earlier on this project.
What did you do? How did you do this?
So we'll cover these airbags with some welding paper to catch the sparks. Whenever you're bending tube for a roll cage or whatever and you want the left and the right to be the same, I always leave the tube a little bit long. This way you can get the bend in the same place, then you can just mark it, cut it, and you have a perfect mirror image. Also make sure it has a good place to land. Like this, whether it's bracing or a roll cage, if it goes to sheet metal, it needs to be on a piece of plate. Keep it strong. All right, brothers, it's tack time.
Once the plate's tacked on, draw some crosshairs so the tube lands in the same place every time. Then get ready for a lot of trimming to make the pipe fit.
On this here, I'm just gonna have to just kind of take the marker and sketch out a rough shape because it's such a compound shape that I'll just have to take my time and use a carbide bit and hog it out until it fits like a puzzle piece. But while I'm cutting the pipes, them some sparks. Lou's welding the plate on the other side. I just start this out by just making some rough cuts, general shapes, and then you can really refine it later with a grinder, get it to fit perfect.
We'll put a plate just like this one on the inside to hold the crossbar. Then we'll drill a hole through them both to make it all line up.
Looks like it'll make it.
Oh yeah, it'll work fine. We'll clean all that seam sealer out of it. We'll be good.
But before we weld the tube on the plate, let's make sure it'll clear the tire.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I left the gap, just, you know, it'll actually make it stronger when you weld it.
So what we did was we ran the suspension all the way up. You know, worst case scenario kind of thing. Make sure we don't hit nothing.
It's also turned all the way too to make sure we don't get into these pipes. It looks like we're in a pretty good shape.
Man, if we hit that, we're doing something wrong.
I'd say something's already broken at that point.
Man.
So that's cool, I like it. Let's
Yeah.
bend another one just like this.
You got it where you want it?
I think.
Here we go.
Oh no, wait!
Too late now, buddy.
No, I was just kidding anyway.
When you're welding something like this, it's gonna take a lot of stress and strain on it, like this brace. It's gonna support the whole front end. You wanna make sure you get good penetration and avoid that cold weld.
Here's a perfect example of what Lou was talking about. It's actually penetrated through the base metal. So you can see the discoloration. I mean, it's just right. It's not too hot, not too cold. And only the very strongest welds can stand up to the Jared stress test.
Oh, you're so manly!
Damn, check
at
it
you
out,
go.
it's so strong. Well, next we're gonna tie the two braces we just put in with a bar that goes across behind the dash. But first we gotta put the dash and some other things in to make sure we don't have any problems with clearance. Before you can weld any roll cages or under dashes, you need to spend at least 2 years in the circus and be a contortionist. Well, what do you think, Lou?
I think it's really cool, man.
Yeah, this one's nice and strong, too.
Oh yeah, it's
Awesome.
not gonna go nowhere. You think we should try fitting the dash and
Yeah.
see how bad we gotta cut it up?
Yeah.
Even with all this work,
cut too
one
high.
big part of this project is still missing.
What is the dang deal?
Your side's gotta come up.
Awesome.
But we're gonna take care of that right now. With all the man hours and time and effort that we've put into this project, we finally decided to name our challenger.
Yeah, this thing is so full of badass parts, and it's just over the top. We're gonna call it Overkill.
I like that.
Me too. So live with it.
We've about got this baby buttoned up. For you guys that don't have the time to modify a 9H4 like we did, all you gotta do is call someone like Summit. They've got all this G-body stuff in stock. One more check, we're on the road. Hey, Jared!
What?
Fire this thing up.
All right, Dan. Hi. Remember me? Yeah. It's payback time.
Coming down.
Well, it's time to claim some payback on our El Camino.
That's not too bad of a start, but we need a nice quiet country road to really see if our fix worked.
All right, now don't break it, all right?
We'll see. Now that is worthy of MuscleCar.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. This time, we're gonna tear up the pavement instead of the car. Let's see what you got, Santiago. Take the punishment. Okay, then.
I think mine are longer.
I think they look pretty much the same. I'm not gonna argue with you about it. The point is that our El Camino held together and it looks like our parts repairs worked, so.
And that's the whole point of MuscleCar. Buy it, build it, beat the hell out of it. We're out of here.
Try
Later.
not to break it. We'll see you guys. Wanna get a cheeseburger?
Let's go, man. I'm hungry.